Hi, guys. Welcome. I'm Marlene of Living Your Best Life. It's Sunday, so it means it's time for the Sunday Talk Show. Welcome to everybody here. Today, we're doing an open panel discussion on emotional eating. But before I start, I got to appreciate my members of the channel and shout them out. Thank you so much to my members, Boss Life Online, Bozo Calvin Jr., Team Ranger, Pandy's Hair Candy and More, Pittsburgh Artist Studio, Dunamis Sound Mind Services, Be Amazing Sylvia, and Marlin Music Channel. I appreciate you guys very much. And if you want to join my membership, it is going to be linked. I appreciate you guys. So I'm going to go over here to the chat, see who's in the chat. Hi, Boss Life Online. Hey, Lala. And I am Tracy Lee. She's backstage. She's going to come up on the panel. So I'm going to drop this link here, y'all. So you guys are welcome to come up. This is going to be an open panel discussion. And before all of that, I got to play the best life crew affirmation. Welcome, everybody.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
So, hi guys. Hi everybody. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. I hope everybody's doing well. You're in a good mood, a good spirit. You had a good day to refresh, rejuvenate, and calm your spirit. So, today's topic is emotional eating. And I was in Stephanie 50 and Climbing live stream one day, and somebody came in there and they were talking about that. And I said, that would be a good topic. So I hope Stephanie comes by. But I am Tracy Lee backstage. So I am going to invite her up. And the link is in the comment section below. So you guys are welcome to come up and voice your opinion. So I want to just start off by saying emotional eating is just that. It's eating based off of emotions, whether you had a good day, a bad day. It's eating just because, not because you're hungry. So I'm going to invite up, I am Tracy Lee, and I'm going to let her voice some of her thoughts, what she thinks about emotional eating.
Hey guys. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. So it's always a pleasure to be on your platform, Queen. And of course, to share some of the things that I'm definitely passionate about. Mental health is one of them. Of course, through this past year and up to the current time, not just this year, but last year, I've been checking in on people I love, checking in on doing mental health checks. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hi, Boss Life and Lala. Unfortunately, I cannot type in the chat right now because it's pulling too much of my resources. So I just have StreamYard open. But emotional eating is something we did discuss, that we kind of touched on it a little bit in Stephanie's room. And it was interesting that so many of us related to it. Like it was just relatable to a lot of us. I know for me, there was a time during my grieving process. So for somebody else's reason for emotional eating may be a little bit different than mine, but it all boils down to the same thing, and that's stress. I mean, stress is what causes us to just reach for things that we feel will fill a void, to make us feel better. And for me, my vice was food. Not snacks. I know some people have a rough time, with the sweet tooth. Mine was literally food, and it would make me feel better for the time. And I'm grateful. Let me just say this: and being addicted to anything is not good. And so while I didn't really like having the emotional eating issue, I'm grateful that it wasn't drugs. I'm grateful that it wasn't alcohol that I turned to fill this void. I'm grateful that it wasn't a man. I'm grateful that it wasn't a woman. Because these are the things that we reach for when we're trying to deal with something that we really don't want to deal with. So for me, I dealt with emotional eating during the time of my grieving, and grieving literally has stages to it. You go through different stages of it. And I found myself stuck in the stage where I was just angry. And what helped me in that anger was for me to eat something. Food just made me feel better. It was momentarily, but for the moment, it made me feel better. And I started to realize that, I needed to feel good more often. And so I began to eat more often. It's just another way of dealing with an issue. When people begin to talk about addictive behavior, addictive mindsets, or doing things in an addictive way, whether it be shopping, overeating, or emotional eating, or smoking, or doing drugs, or drinking alcohol. It's all because of the same reason, which is stress. And so I didn't really deal with the stress, and it just got worse. So my reason for just like being in this cycle was because I really didn't deal with the grief. I was there for everybody else. I was being strong for everybody else. I was making sure things were taken care of. I made sure that, with regards to my mom, I made sure that her things were taken, her bills were paid and things were taken care of, even, after her death. And so it was just a lot of things that I took on. She had a house that needed taken care of, and so it was just so many things that I never really realized that I didn't take the time out for Tracy. I didn't take the time out to allow myself to go through the process of grieving. And so it made it easier for me to just go ahead and pick something up, throw it in my mouth real quick. And then let's fast forward 50 pounds later. I'm sitting here like, girl, this is out of control. Now it's become, this is what made it addictive, because it was something that I relied on versus me really dealing with the issue, dealing with my stress, allowing myself to go through a healthy way of grieving. And it is a healthy way to grieve, and also allow myself to not feel like I needed to be strong for everybody else. And so even though I would feel like, I had a grip on it, as time passed, okay, I'm not eating as much. When we get around to the death dates and the holidays and the birth dates, I found myself getting back into the same dysfunctional relationship with food, because now I don't want to deal with the pain of what I never really dealt with in the first place. And so it's a really, really serious issue. It's good that we have the platform that we could come talk about it, because reality is that there's a lot of people that suffering in silence. They don't know how to identify, why am I eating like this? Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? Why am I even drinking like this? Why am I, hooking up with men like this, or hooking up with women like this, or whatever the case may be, whatever our vice is that we try to fill the void. Even shopping, sis, yes. Even shopping, will it makes you feel good. And so it's not really dealing with the issue, and it makes it worse. It is a mental issue that has to be dealt with. And I feel like as a culture of people, talking about our people, we don't really like to talk about mental health. It's easier to excuse it away as, oh, that's just how she eats, or she just loves to eat, or she just loves to shop, or that's just how Tracy is. No, Tracy is crying out for help. This is not how Tracy is. There's some things that Tracy needs to deal with, that she's literally burying herself, literally killing herself, eating and filling these voids with things that are not really helping the issue. And so it was just really interesting that we were able to discuss that in Stephanie's room, and just see how many people, sometimes it only takes one person to say, this is where I am, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm dealing with, for somebody else to have the courage to raise their hand and say, you know what? I'm dealing with that too. I'm going through that too. I'm feeling like that too. And so I just think that was incredible that we were able to say, okay, yeah, this is where I am. And my reason may not be the same as Marlene's reason, or it may not be the same as Stephanie reasons or any of you guys' reason, but it all boils down to the same thing. Stress, number one. There's a void that needs to be filled. There's some things in our lives, mentally, even psychologically, that we've not dealt with, that we kind of push things down. I like to say that women are like oranges and men are like apples. So in that analysis, when you peel back an orange, it has so many different compartments. And as women, we have just been conditioned to just shove what we're dealing with in one of those compartments and keep things moving. And so that's why you'll see a woman who may be going through a divorce. She can still press through and do her job with excellence. She can still take care of her children with excellence. It doesn't mean that she's not dying on the inside. It doesn't mean that she's not hurting on the inside. It just simply means that she put that into one of those compartments and then she just keeps it moving. What makes that unhealthy is that it's only so many compartments that you can fill. So once they're all filled, now you're left with dealing with all of these things that you packed away so neatly, hid from people. We can put on a pretty smile. We can fix our face up. We can dress ourselves up, but it does not mean that we are not broken and going through on the inside. It just means we know how to dress it up really good. Whereas men, when they deal with something, it goes straight to the core. Apples don't have sections where they can put things. And so when a man deals with something, it goes straight to the core. You ever hear somebody say, I've forgiven him for so many things that he's done to me through the years. And here I do this one thing and he's done with me. Yeah, he has nowhere to put it. He has the core. And so what he deals with, it goes straight to his core. He's left to deal with it immediately. Whereas women, again, we are conditioned and we really have to really begin to recognize when we are storing things away or when we're dealing with them. That this is why I feel like it's really good to have like a really nice sisterhood, a network of women that you can trust to go to say, sis, I'm hurting. I'm going through something. Can you pray with me? Can you even listen? Sometimes the best part of communication is you giving somebody the time to listen, because sometimes they just need to unpack that with somebody so they're not carrying the weight. And so, I just think this is great that we have a platform we could come to and say, yeah, I dealt with emotional eating. The way that I got myself out is that, number one, I was accountable. I had to raise my hand and say, hi, my name is Tracy. The same way that they do in Alcoholics Anonymous, you have to be the first one to say that this is a problem. Everybody else on the outside looking in can tell you what's wrong with you. But when you get to the powerful place of being able to say, hi, my name is Tracy and I have an eating disorder, or hi, my name is Tracy, I have a very bad dysfunctional relationship with food. Hi, my name is Tracy and I am an emotional eater. When I say that out loud, it leaves room for other people to say, hi, my name is Marlene. And guess what? I'm dealing with the same thing. Hi, I'm Stephanie and I'm dealing with the same thing. And so now you have a group of women who can come together and empower one another to get through the issue, And so that's just my little take on it. I had to first acknowledge it. I had to have a confrontation with it. This is really an issue. I had to have a confrontation with it. And then I had to allow myself to go through a grieving process. And it was many years after my mom passed that I actually began to grieve for her. I realized that I don't have to be strong for everybody. I'm not Superwoman. I do hurt. I have filled up every single last one of these compartments and I don't have anywhere else to put anything. And before I snap somebody's neck, I'm going to deal with what's going on the inside of me. And so there has to be a confrontation. There has to be acknowledgement. There has to be a confrontation. And then there has to be you making the decision that one day at a time, number one, I'm going to be kind to myself because it didn't take me overnight to get here. And it's surely not going to take overnight for me not to be in this place. But I'm going to commit to the process of getting better. And so that's why where I am, guys, I'm still in the process of getting better. I'm not there yet. I can admit that. Why? Because I am committed to getting better. And because it's going to help somebody else to be like, okay, she looked like she got it all together, but she's telling me that she doesn't. And I want people to know, I want people to be relatable and know that there's nothing to be ashamed of. When you get to the other side of this, you're going to be stronger than when you approached it. And so it's okay to be honest with yourself. it's very important to be honest with yourself. And it's a part of my self-care. It's a part of my self-love that I be better mentally. I can't be any good to anybody, my husband, my children, or anybody that's been placed in my sphere of influence, if I'm not first real and authentic with myself and saying, hi, my name is Tracy. I'm an emotional eater, but guys, I am dealing with it. I'm working on the things that caused me to get to this place. I'm realizing that this food is not going to fill the void. It doesn't satisfy. It does for a second, but it's only momentarily. And the consequences are that you're going to put on a lot of weight. Do I want to have a lot of weight? Absolutely not. And so this is the place that I am in now. I am still an emotional eater, but I'm dealing with it. I've gone through the grieving process. And so now I'm in a place where the memories have surpassed the pain. And so there's no longer that void of pain. Of course, I'm going to always miss my mother. You get one mother,
Right.
and nobody can replace her, but I'm in a place now where the memories are beginning to surpass the pain. And so there's no need to, fill that void, because the void is being filled with those awesome, wonderful memories versus me filling it with a piece of chicken,
Right.
10 pieces of chicken, let's just say, because an emotional eater will be full and still eat. Like, it's not like Marlene said, it's not that you want the food, it's just comforting. It's there for you. And so you're going to eat it because it's there. I would eat so much till I'm just like literally packed up to the throat. I couldn't even drink anything because I'm so packed up. It was just insane. And then I got to the place where I started to really get disgusted with my own self. Like, why are you eating like this? This is terrible. And so let's deal with our mental health. It's very imperative. It's nothing to be ashamed about. And I feel like having these very real conversations, Marlene, it helps other people get the courage to say, hi, I'm there too. Thank you so much for sharing your story. People don't realize, so many people are ashamed of their stories, but it's your story that's going to help bring somebody else out. And so thank you so much. I'm so grateful for being able to come, be transparent. I am still dealing with emotional eating. I'm just not in the place that I was. And I'm grateful for that. I'm not where I used to be. I'm not where I want to be. And that is the testimony. The testimony is that I'm not where I used to be and that I'm still here. I've acknowledged it and I am dealing with it and I'm working on it and I'm sharing my story. And the more that I share my story and help other people, the more that I'm helping myself, because that's the reality of it. We are, as women, we go through 99.9% of the same things. We are more alike than we are different. And so when we begin to come and connect with one another in that way, it kind of helps us to be able to get a little bit courage to say, yeah, I'm with you, sis. And I'm going to take your hand and we're going to come through this together. And that's what it's about. That's what it's all about. So I don't want to use all the space up, Marlene.
Oh, no, you're not using all the space, but I want to piggyback on something that you said, when you said about eating to fill the space for your mother. I had the emotional eating, but on the opposite aspect. Went all the way to the other extreme. Instead of eating, I was starving myself. So that
Okay,
was
wow.
also an unhealthy emotional eating habit. And until somebody told me that, like, what do you mean you haven't eaten all day? Like,
Right.
that's not good. And I want people to know that there are other levels besides just the constant eating. There's another level. Starving yourself as well is not healthy.
Absolutely. I totally
And
agree.
yeah. So that's why it's important to share your personal truth to let other people know that maybe there's somebody like me who, when they're upset about, and I still go there sometimes, when I get
Mm-hmm.
upset, I cannot eat.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to tell myself, Marlene, no, that's not good. You're not going to self-destruct your own self because you deserve better than that, you know? So that's what I had to do. I wanted to share that to let you guys know both extremes are not good. And also in that, we have to also give ourselves room that you don't have to be perfect. I think that that's an issue that as women, even as some men, you feel that you have to be perfect, that you have to put on a facade for other people, make them feel like you're, I don't know, some kind of perfect model of a human being. But everybody is imperfect. Everybody makes mistakes. You don't have to put on that everything is going okay. It's okay sometimes to feel down. That's okay. You have to give yourself room to just be. So you just need to maybe cry sometimes. Maybe you need to talk to somebody. You may need a vacation. You may need some rest, but you have to allow yourself room to feel what you want to feel instead of filling it with food or not filling it with food.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And I've been there too. In relationships, I can remember a high school relationship. I felt like I'm not going to live without this little boy. He done broke up with me. This is the end of the world. And yeah, I went like days without eating. So you're right. There's extremes, there's levels to it, but it still boils down to the same thing. We may not, handle things the same way, but it's the same root cause of it is us trying to deal with something in a way that we're not actually dealing with it, And so, yeah, it's extreme. Some people even do eat around people and then they purge it up. Some people get as far as going to the extreme of becoming anorexic. It shows itself in so many different ways. It manifests in so many different ways, but it still boils down to the same emptiness and us trying to get some type of gratification or satisfaction to filling a void that's no longer there. In my case, the grieving. When I dealt with the grieving, I can remember the not eating part back when I felt like I was heartbroken. I was not going to live without this little boy. Yeah, I think it was like maybe a little high school crush love type thing. But I can relate as well, Marlene, to going days without eating and not even really putting two and two together and realizing that this is what you're doing to yourself. Ultimately, either extreme is still a form of self-destruction, in that we're not honoring ourselves and giving ourselves what we need to survive, mentally, emotionally, physically, or spiritually. It is very healthy to cry. I always say that there's a ministry of tears, that when you cry, you're literally releasing things that normally you would be holding on to that would cause a root of bitterness, that would cause anger, that would cause things to come in and cause you to just be a really miserable person. And then in turn, what they say, misery loves company, unconsciously, not realizing hurt people. That's the only thing that I have to give. And so I'm not realizing that I'm hurting people, but that's what's on the inside of me. And that's what I'm putting out. And so I look at it as us bleeding on people. I don't want to be the person to bleed on people because I've not dealt with my own issues. And so it's just these conversations are so important. Because it helps to liberate us. It helps to liberate the people that are listening. Because again, people are afraid to say, this is what I'm dealing with because they think it's something wrong with them. And you're right. We're not perfect. No one is perfect. And so, that's a really hard thing to try to keep up with, trying to put on this facade. I think the best thing that we can do for ourselves and showing that we love ourselves is to be the most authentic that we can be. And that's even in our flaws and all. And those that are supposed to be connected to us and supposed to be a part of our life are going to love and accept us, flaws and all. And that's how I love people. I don't tell people to change for me. I would never tell somebody to change for me. Be who you are, because I'm not going to be looking for any surprises to come for you. I want people to be exactly who they are, and I'm not going to, sometimes you can love, literally, I've heard this phrase, you can love the hell out of people, the literal hell that they're going through. Love will literally pull them out of that hell. And so I'm learning, and I've learned in the past, and I'm learning to love the hell out of those that have been placed in my sphere of influence.
Right. Yep. And Boss Life Online says that's true. Don't take it out on others just because you're not willing to deal with your pain.
Absolutely.
And we see that all the time, don't we? We know people, even and maybe ourselves, we see people that they're so angry, so bitter because they have not dealt with their unresolved issues. So, it's just like a mirror, they're or a ball, just bouncing it back on others, how they feel inside when they need to deal with their own problems.
Absolutely. The reality is they don't realize that that's what they're doing. You're right. I feel like how we treat others mirrors how we treat ourselves. And so if you're kind to yourself, you're going to be kind to others. If you're struggling and you're angry and you're dealing with bitterness, and you're not dealing with it, but you're full of bitterness and you're full of things that you're not really dealing with, it's going to reflect onto others, it's going to deflect, it's going to project onto other people. It's not that a person is consciously doing that. That's all they have to give. If I'm full of love and joy and happiness, that's what's going to flow from me. If I'm full of anger and malice and bitterness and envy and all of these things, that's what's going to flow from me. And so to be conscious of what to deal with my own stuff so that this is not something I project onto other people is very important, because I would dare not want, especially if I'm going through a painful period, I would dare not want to cause pain to other people. And so we have to be very mindful, very conscious that that's not something that we're doing. The reality is I can only give out of myself what I have. And so if I'm upset, I don't have any joy for you, which is why we should deal with anger right there when it happens. I'm not going to go through, I don't go to bed angry. I promised myself that. And even in my marriage, that's what we wrote our own vows. And a part of it is that we would never go to bed angry. It'll be 26 years next month that we've never went to bed angry. And I think that's important because, number one, tomorrow's not promised. Can't apologize to somebody once they're gone. And why not get it right when you can, and so I don't ever want to be the person who's projecting any type of harshness onto other people, but that's what people do. And when they do, I just get pulled back and get to a place and say they must really, really be going through something right now. I'm not going to put myself in a place because it can be abusive. Now, I'm allowing you to abuse me, whether it be emotionally, mentally. I'm not going to let you abuse me. So when you get it together, then I will see you on the other side of your healing, because I'm not going to allow you to abuse me, since that's the only thing that you have to give at this time. So that's a great point, Boss Life, a great point. This is what people do because that's all they have. That's all they have to give.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and I would even say sometimes what I always worry about is the men, because men have emotional eating issues too, but men usually aren't like women. Like women, they'll go to a girlfriend or sister, mom, a cousin, somebody and say, girl, this is going on, this is how I feel. But a man, they just keep harboring it inside, and they keep putting on more weight or losing more weight, however, whichever end of the spectrum they're on. And I'm just like, it's not good. So this is even for the guys. So any man who may be watching now or even on the replay, you can talk to somebody, see a therapist, talk to somebody that you can trust. It's important to do it. It's important to talk about how you feel. And don't feel like you got to be perfect, because you don't.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great advice, Marlene, because men were taught to be strong, or you can't show your emotions. I was so grateful. I think it's a blessing when you realize that you've been blessed to raise sons. And so these are the things you want to put into them. If you are hurting, tell someone. I think that starts at a young age. There are some men that really do need to sit down and talk to somebody. They're suffering and they're going through pain and a lot of things in silence, which is why we see, when you see men that have the real controlling, domineering type of personality, it's because that's what they were told they needed to be. Men have an emotional side. Men have a spiritual side. I see it. I'm married to a man who's in touch with his emotional side. He's not afraid to talk, but that's how his mother raised him. And so when you get into dealing with men who were told you can't cry, you can't show if you show a woman that you're emotional, you're weak. Those are all lies that are put into them as little boys. And so I feel like, well, if we begin to teach our little boys that it's okay, you're gonna hurt, and when you do, it's okay to talk to somebody about it. It's okay to get therapy. People don't. Again, back to our culture. We feel like, we all good, or that she's just crazy. We like to label our family members instead of suggesting that they go and talk to somebody. It's okay to have a therapist. It's okay to go talk to somebody. It's okay to share how you feel. It's okay that you're hurting. You don't have to, it doesn't show any sign of weakness. I feel like when you're able to say, I'm in pain, that's the most powerful thing that you could say out of your mouth, because you're no longer suffering in silence. You're giving a voice to it, and literally you're freeing yourself in a sense, because the more that you hold your peace and don't say anything is the more I feel like you're in bondage to it, because now it gets to torment you. You're not crazy. No, you're not. You may just need to talk to somebody. You may just need to know how to deal with certain things. And there are people who are well educated and well equipped to be able to help you to get to this place. And it's okay to be on the couch. It's okay to kick your feet up and say, this is where I am, even if you have to go all the way back to childhood, because some people do. Again, like I said, for men, a lot of men, it originates in their childhood where they're taught to be these big, strong, domineering, which sometimes it gets to the place where they're even controlling and want to, like over controlling to dealing with narcissistic personality. Because now I want to control everything in my sphere of influence. I want to control everything in my realm. And that's very, very unhealthy. And so you have people now dealing with severe narcissism that, they don't even realize they're a narcissist because this is what's been taught to them and put into them. You're weak if you cry. You're weak if you show your emotional side. You're weak if you talk to people. You're weak if you share how you feel. No, you're not. That makes you very strong to be able to say out loud that I'm going through something that I can't deal with emotionally, psychologically, or mentally, and I need help so that I don't go to a place of no return. And so, yes, I encourage men to go ahead. It makes you strong. As a Black woman, I will say out of my mouth and tell you that I see a powerful, empowered man that's able to express how he feels. That's a man to me. That's able to have a conversation about his emotions and not feel less than a man. No, that to me, you're more than a man because you're able to say it out of your mouth and you don't have to put on any ears. And I'm perceiving you as a Black king, whether you're dealing with emotional issues or not. You're still a Black king who's dealing with something, or a king in general, because I don't want to just use color here, but a king in general, because all men are hurting. All men go through challenges. All men go through struggles. All men, look at the world that we live in now. All men have to deal with all types of things outside of the home, and then they have to come home and they're still dealing with things in the home. So all men need that place of peace. They need that place where they're not afraid to say, this is what's happening to me and I need help, and to have somebody in their corner to know you're still the man. Like, I'm not looking at you any less of a person. I'm even looking at you even more, empowered that you were able to say that, because not too many men are able to express the emotional side of them. Men have emotions. Okay, let's just keep it real. They have emotions. And a lot of men are hurting in silence because they feel like they have to keep up this facade. And unfortunately, there are women who, not just their moms, but women in general throughout life, who've made them feel like that. He's too nice. That's what some women say. He's too nice. He's too emotional. He's a man. What type of man do you want? You know what I'm saying? Because you get into relationships and then it's like, he doesn't talk to me. He doesn't this. Well, you said 10 months ago that he was too nice, that he was too emotional. That's the type of man I'm grateful that God blessed me with, that's able to express how he feels, that's able to say when he's hurting, that's able to talk to me when he's going through something, because that is a man's man to me, who's not going to keep himself in a place where he's suffering in silence and he's in bondage within himself. And then there's all this abusive stuff coming out to the people that's around him. A lot of men are abusive because they were told, keep it inside, brother. Don't say nothing about it, brother. You can't let her see you cry, brother. Don't tell her everything. No. You better cry if you need to cry. You better share it if you need to share it. It does not, again, make you any less of a man. So I encourage you, right along with Marlene, if you need therapy, if you need help, it does not make you any less of a man. As a matter of fact, it makes you that much more of a man, because you are aware of what you need for your own personal self-care. Women feel like we're the only ones that need self-care. No, we have to teach our men. You need self-care too. Self-care is imperative too. Self-care is important to your well-being too. Self-care is important to your mental health too. And so when you love people,
and I had to learn this too, Tracy Lee, that in relationships, any relationship, work, in your family, in your friends, you have to learn healthy ways to speak to one another. because
Absolutely.
that goes to the emotional eating as well. Just because one person may communicate one way, another person may not communicate that way. For you,
Mhm.
that may be like an attack. So you have to
Right.
learn the communication styles of others, so that is it's not something that can attack you for years, because we all know there is power in the tongue. So things that you say to somebody, it can attack that person for years. So that's why it's so important for the words that we speak out of our mouth, for it to be encouraging, uplifting, and motivating to others. And I will also say to our men, I want to speak to the men for a minute. A lot of times, especially in romantic relationships, we kind of expect the man to talk to us a certain way. You know, kind of talk to us with kid gloves, and we feel like everything they say is an attack, but it's not. Sometimes, as women, we don't want to hear what, they're telling us what we need to hear. And we'll look at it. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, why are you attacking me like this? When is something? Sometimes it's a message. That message is coming from God. His spirit is moving that man to tell you something. He says, I'm come here to teach you, because we all know in relationships, people come into your life for various reasons and seasons. So he may be coming just to teach you, just to teach you. He's like, this is the message. Don't don't attack me. This is the message I was told to tell you. So we have to keep our eyes and ears open, and don't think everything is an attack, because it's not.
Absolutely. I
Mhm.
don't know why, we have that part to us, that combative part to us, which is also, you're right. It all goes into that, emotional eating is just a sign of a mental ailment or a void that needs to be filled. Being combative is too. That still speaks to the mental aspect of a woman when she's on go all the time. You're right. People come in our lives for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. Is always going to be something learned through each relationship, like you said, whether it be a work relationship, a friend relationship, a romantic relationship. And we have to trust that people have our best interests at heart if we are picking these people to be in our sphere of influence. You're right. There was a time I would be very combative with my husband. Like, when you're used to doing everything, when you're used to making all the decisions, and then now you have to share that with somebody else, the transition can be kind of challenging. But these people have their best interests at heart. And so, yeah, I've learned to listen. I've learned to be silent, to be slow to speak and quick to hear, because I don't want to miss anything. And I know that this man has my best interest at heart. So he's not going to tell me anything that's going to hurt me. And also, I don't want him to feel like what he has to say is not significant, because what it would do when we respond like that, it causes the men that you're in relationship with to shut down. I'm just not going to say anything to her because I already know how she's going to respond. She's not going to receive me. Maybe what I'm saying is not worth anything, which just adds to whatever other emotional things he has to deal with already. And so as women, I do feel like we need to practice silence. And that doesn't mean make us weak. If you're in a relationship, you marry somebody, you said vows before the world and before God, then that means that you should be honoring that relationship. And so a part of honoring that relationship, what I learned is the most important part in communication is the listening part. And so I learned to listen more and speak. I'm not telling you guys that I'm sitting here and we don't have like a give and take conversation. But sometimes, we get to pick and choose our battles. We, as women, we always want to battle. We always on go. We always got the defense up. We know everything. Be open to learn. That's all. Be open to learn. Be open to receive and trust the person that you said you would honor, love, and honor and cherish till death do you part before the world and before God. And so, yes, that's a part of helping him to get to where he needs to get to. If that's not something that was taught to him as a boy growing up, we teach people how to treat us, but we also want to leave people deposits of helping them to be a better version of themselves or the best version of themselves. I personally like to add to people. I'm not trying to take anything away from you. So if I can't add to your life, then I guess for those that are season reasons of lifetimes, I know God will show me. He does show me. Okay, the time is up for this relationship. Or this is a lifetime relationship. This is an assignment. Continue to pour into. Continue to build. Continue to cultivate. That's the assignment. That this is what we're supposed to be doing for one another. We're supposed to be building one another and making these healthy deposits into one another. And for me, when people are in my life, you have permission to not let me stay somewhere that I'm killing myself. That means that I'm open to the truth. Some people
Right.
aren't. Some people aren't, but I give every single person that's been assigned to my life permission to not allow me to stay in a place that is killing me. That means you have a permission to speak into my life. You have permission to tell me the truth. The truth does not always feel good. I'm aware of that. But because I want to be better, the way that you show me that you love me is to not let me stay there.
Hmm. Yes, and you have to also allow people to help you to grow. And I feel like you have to be in a mature space, in an open space in your life. If you keep yourself closed, you're going to be in the same position. It doesn't matter how many years pass by. You're going to be in the same position a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years later,
Mm-hmm.
because nothing will change. If you won't change, you have to be willing to open your heart and accept, something new.
Absolutely. There's this saying in psychology, people do the same thing and they expect different results. That's crazy. And so, we want to see something different. We have to begin to do something different. And that's the challenge. That is the challenge. It's not always easy. Change can be challenging. It can be frightening, because now I'm about to embark upon something that I've never done before. I'm about to go somewhere that I've never gone before. And so it's imperative, if you want to see something different, then change is inevitable. You're going to have to do something different. You keep doing the same things, you're going to keep getting the same results. That's the reality of it. And so, yeah, when it comes down to emotional eating or any type of emotional or mental thing, challenge, I'm going to say mental challenge that we face or we deal with, you want to see something different, you have to do something different. And that is hard. I'm going to be honest with you, because comfortability feels good. Being moved out of my place where I'm crunched up on this side and crunched up on this side is uncomfortable, because now I got to stand on my own 2 feet. Now I got to learn to walk here and walk this way. And I've never walked this way before. It can be
Right.
frightening. It can be very frightening, because now I'm going into places I've never been before. And so I don't know what to expect, but I'm looking for something different. And I have to move if I want to see the change or become the change that I want to see. I have to move from this place. If I stay here, I'm going to keep getting the same thing I've been getting in this place. And so, I have to do something different. And that's what I've been doing. And, again, I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way somewhere. It was the first step is the most frightening step. I will say that. But when you start taking the second and third step and realizing that you're not on this journey alone, there are other people who say, once you begin to share what you're dealing with, hey, I'm dealing with that too. Then you realize I'm not on this road by myself. There's people that are walking this way with me because they want something different. And so that's the challenge, doing something different or not complaining at all. Why are you complaining if you're not willing to move from the place that you're in? And so that's where the challenge is. And sometimes, maybe because it took me 4 months to move, it may take somebody a week to move. And everybody's decision on when they move is different. And so we have to learn to be patient with one another, and just especially for those that are supposed to be here. I'm going to say it like that. Though there are people that are supposed to be here, and those people that are supposed to be here, you're going to be patient. You're going to be kind. You're going to be gentle. You're going to handle them, fragilely, because that at any given time, if you drop them, that could be the last thing. Do you know there are people who your hello, your smile, change the decision for them to commit suicide. Like, people don't even realize that you can make the difference in somebody's life. You don't know what a person is dealing with or what they're going through when they encounter you, but you can cause that person to leave better, or you could cause them to leave bitter. And I want to be the person that is a life giver, that is causing people to leave my environment. I like to call this my environment, because it is. We have our own environments, then we have the environments that we live in, and then there's the environment of the workplace, the environment of the world. But when people leave my space, I want them to leave better. And that's the decision. And I'm realizing that again, that's a part of me walking on this road.
Right.
I'm not the only one on it. I'm not the only one that's an emotional eater. I'm not the only one who dealt with grief. I'm not the only one who suffered loss. I'm not the other one who dealt with a miscarriage. I'm not the only one who dealt with pain and dealt with rejection and dealt with abandonment. And so when I have to realize that on this path and on this road, there's so many other people that are on this road in different places. And I consider myself, when I'm dealing with people in every situation, I handle them the same way that I would handle myself. And I'm not going to be abusive to me. I'm not going to mistreat me. I'm not going to be unkind to me. And so that's how I learn to treat other people. And it's helping me to get a little bit closer, Marlene, to where I'm trying to get to, out of this place of trying to fill the void with things that aren't helpful for me, out of this place where I'm silent, I'm giving a voice to when I'm hurting. Yes, I'm hurting. I want to tell you I'm hurting. So then now you know, and you can pray for me, or you can pray with me, or you can give me a word of encouragement. I'm not dealing with this in the dark by myself, because in the dark by myself, I'm tormented. But when I bring that when I pull out what Tracy's dealing with into the light, everybody gets to see it. And so now I'm not left to suffer with it alone. That's the power in being able to say, hi, I'm hurting too. I'm struggling too. I'm dealing with grief too. I emotionally eat too, or don't eat when I'm dealing with stressful situations. I don't know how to go through this grieving process. I don't know how to deal with the breakup. I don't know how to deal with the divorce. I don't know how to deal with the loss. I don't know how to deal with a miscarriage. When we share these powerful stories of some of the things, again, that we have all as women dealt with, we dealt with a lot of the same things. And here we are in competition with another woman that's going through the same thing that I'm going through. How foolish is that? I think that's foolish.
And that's why I say all the time, Tracy Lee, that's why I always say my shine, my light is not taking away from yours. Nobody can dim your light unless you choose to dim your light.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times as women, that it's not usually something that we're taught. You know, our mothers most mothers never teach you that no matter how powerful, how strong, how courageous, how wonderful you are, you go out and be that. Go out and be wonderful. Go out and shine your light, but don't dim your light or hold back because somebody else is not ready for your message, or not ready to receive you, or are jealous of you, or whatever the case may be. We have to just be ourselves. And a lot of times when you glow up, that's what I like to call it. When you glow up, when you raise your light, when you raise your vibration, and your positivity, you allow other people to go say, they'll look at you and say, wow, Marlene's over there really shining. You know, she's doing well. You know, show others by your example how you can be. You know, me shining my light is not taking away from Tracy's light, or Boss Online, or Vern's, or Stephanie, or anybody, silly mommy. And we have to learn that as women, to stop being jealous of one another. Stop, you know, talking about other people and saying this, that, and the other. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. And I like what Boss Life Online says, that if somebody keeps doing the same thing over and over again, and they don't make an effort to change, do you stay?
Absolutely. Well, this is a thing, and that's really tricky, Boss Life, because you know when somebody is there for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Honestly, Queen, sometimes the season is just over, because people who refuse to change, right? There's people I know who've been the same way for years. Some people like being the victim. Let's just keep it real. It gets them a certain type of attention. So they like that. No, you know why? Because it literally, you're pushing pause on your growth for somebody else, and nobody is worth that. So sometimes the season is over, and you will know when the season is over. And believe, let me help you understand, people will make you feel bad for moving on. Okay, so be ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, you have to do that for your own. That's a part of your self-care, because those type of relationships are abusive. That's like saying, that's like a man who, a woman who's in an abusive, domestic abusive relationship. This man is beating her, but he's sorry every week for doing it. He's going to change every week. Ultimately, that woman gets enough strength to leave the relationship, and then he's trying to make her feel bad for taking her power back, so to speak. So
Right.
sometimes you have to do that. People will literally drain the life out of you and leave you for dead. So you have to be wise in knowing when the season is over. Everybody's not a lifetime. You have people in your life that are a lifetime. They're there for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. You're going to know those reason people. Either it's to get you more patience, either it's to get you, to a certain place, and then it's time, because everybody can't go level up with you. Let me just put it like that.
Yeah.
There's going to be a few people in your life that's going to be your lifetime people. And so you got to know that some people, okay, the season is up, queen, time for me to move on. And you're not really making an announcement, you're just moving on. But, unfortunately, everybody's not there to stay. So that's what I would say to that. Everybody's not there to stay. I want to say, with regards to what you said, Marlene, with letting your light, when you let your light shine, that's powerful. When you're shining your light, and we're together, and we're glowing up together, we're just illuminating each other's light. Guess what's happening? We're making the light that we have as individuals brighter, to draw more women, men too, to come to see what this light is about. And so when you have that mindset, that I'm grateful for Marlene's light, because when Marlene come with her light, or if I come with my light, or Boss Life comes with her light, or the queens that are in the chat come with their light, we're literally shining a light so bright. You understand? There is no competition. We are all on a lot of the same journeys of trying to get to the best versions of ourselves, and to make each other and other people that cross our path better. Whether they be the season, reason, or lifetime. For this season, my assignment is to make you better. If you choose not to be better, then ultimately this season's going to be over, and I'm going to move on. And so that's what we do.
Yeah. And I had to learn also in that, Tracy Lee, that sometimes you have to leave people behind, because, there is something as called blocking your blessings.
Yes, absolutely.
That if God gives you an assignment, he's telling you something that you need to do. And you're sitting there holding it because you're waiting on X, Y, and Z to come along with you. But if that's not X, Y, and Z's journey, wait, when are you going to ever fulfill your higher level?
Absolutely.
It won't happen. It won't happen.
Absolutely. It won't happen. Sometimes your assignment is just to plant a seed. Somebody else is supposed to water it, but you're hanging around. That seed's not going to get any type of water. God gives the increase, but that person that's supposed to move into the space of watering can't move into the space because you're occupying it. So you're absolutely right. Sometimes it's just time to move on, and we learn these things as we go. And sometimes we hurt our own self because we're trying to love somebody where the season is over. We're trying to hold on to things that the season is over. We're trying to keep doors open that God is trying to close, because we're on to the next chapter. Again, I like to look at it as us pushing pause on purpose. When I say pushing pause on purpose, you're pushing pause on the purpose that God has for your life. Nobody's worth that. And so we have to, this is a constant move. It's a moving and a learning that we're going through. And so it's just you learning as you go. Everybody's not meant to level up with you. People like low vibrational things. They like, again, to be on a victim level. It gets them a certain type of attention that they don't realize, baby, that's not really good attention. But, it's not for us to teach them if they're not open to learn. You can't force liberty, freedom on somebody. You can know the way. You could show them the blueprint. You could give them all of that, and they'll still find a reason and an excuse to stay here because this is comfortable. I'm used to this. If I move, that means that I have to walk into something that I've never walked into before, and I'm scared to do that. So yeah, those
Yeah.
are the people that you have to make up your mind that, okay, it's time for me to keep it moving. Why would
Mhm.
I push pause on my purpose?
And you have to also learn about accountability, because
Absolutely.
sometimes, in ignorance we do things, as women or as men, you do things in ignorance because if you don't know better you can't do better. But
Hmm.
when you come into the knowledge, when you come into that power, when you come into that blessing, when you see, you know you got the tunnel, the light is ahead of you and it's telling you to go this way. It's not time for you to reverse and go backwards or look at what somebody else is doing. What is somebody else's purpose? What is somebody
Right,
else's light? It is not your journey. Everybody is on a
right,
different journey in their life. And I feel that as women, most of the time as women, we compare ourselves too much. The way they look, their body shape, how much money they have in their account. Like I always say on my channel, my thing is mind your business. Don't
hello,
worry about nobody else. I don't have time to worry about what you're doing, Tracy.
right,
I'm so busy and focused on what Marlene needs to do that I don't have time. I don't have time
absolutely,
to worry about what you're doing. You should be so focused on that. And if somebody else is in line with your purpose, then you say, "Come on." But I'm not going
absolutely.
to. No, no.
Yeah, that's those are distractions. Those are distractions. They come to really get us to lose focus. That's what it comes to. There's so many things that come to cause us to lose focus. That's definitely one of them. I celebrate every woman, whatever space and place that she's in. I celebrate every woman. Again, considering myself, but I also know that everything's not my assignment. And I ain't got time to be worried about nobody else's business. You know what I'm saying? I totally agree with you. I have too many things on my plate and too many dreams that I'm trying to live out loud to focus on what's going on with somebody else. And so, yeah, we don't do that here. But there
And
are a lot of people.
and
Yeah,
I
go
don't
ahead,
know,
honey.
and I don't know who this message is, but the message just came into me to tell somebody. I don't know who it is, somebody here or somebody on the replay. I need to tell them to stop letting fear stop them from their goals. The
Yes,
message is for somebody. Do not
absolutely.
allow fear to stop you. So somebody is holding back because of fear of maybe their own self inadequacies, or thinking maybe they're not worthy enough. That's why I'm wearing the shirt today. You are worthy.
Yes, absolutely. I love it.
Yeah,
I love
you're
it. And yes,
worthy.
you are. That's something that really, as women, we need to start putting into the atmosphere. We have to learn to practice affirmation, put it out there until you believe it, right? Stop waiting for somebody else to tell you and start telling yourself. Like when my feet hit the floor, I already got 20 affirmations out before my feet hit the floor, right? I started 2021 affirming I will never be broke another day in my life. I have not been broke a day in my life.
Oh,
Why? That's
oh,
something I
Tracy
put.
Lee, that's something important to stop saying. There's certain things that you should never come out of your mouth, and one of them is that I'm poor. One is that I'm
Absolutely.
broke. You're
I
speaking that
will
over
never
your
be.
life. Don't say I'm so poor. I'm so broke. What you put out there in the atmosphere is what you're going to receive back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which is why I'm decreeing and declaring what I desire to see, because as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Power of life and death is in the tongue. So what you put out there, that's what you're going to see. A lot of people right now are complaining, but they're living what they've been speaking out of their mouth. I can't do it. I can't have it. This
I
won't
won't.
happen. Turn that thing around. Turn it around. Yes, I am powerful. I am influential. I will never be broke, never another day of my life. You have to put these things into the atmosphere, and those are the things that's going to grow legs and feet and show up in your life. When you start saying, I can't do it, you can't do it because you're saying you can't do it. And I totally agree that we have to practice faith over fear. Fear comes to rob us of so much. Fear is what's telling you can't. Fear is what's telling you what you
But the
can't do.
problem, the problem, Tracy Lee, is that we believe it. The
Right.
problem is not the fear. The problem is us believing something that is not true. We are believing a lie. Something
Absolutely.
cannot bear the fruit in our lives if we don't believe it.
Right. So if you're afraid, this is what you're allowing to come out of your mouth. So a lot of times people are speaking things out of their mouth. You know how you just came and told spoke declared life into people. Some people don't believe it to the point where they will allow that to come out. Oh, she's not talking to me. That's not for me. That's not going to happen for me. We have to be very careful. What you want to show up in your life is what you say out of your mouth. And so you have to really begin to affirm what you want to see, and even be mindful of what you allow to come out of your mouth, because that's what people are living. Your reality, a lot of people's reality now, is things that they've been saying.
And like one of the millionaires, because I follow a lot of millionaires on Instagram, and every single one of them, they it's three things that I notice that they do. The first one is their associates.
Mm-hmm.
Is who you
Mm-hmm.
associate with. Number two is the thoughts. What kind of thoughts are
Mm-hmm.
you thinking?
Yep.
Because we know that the thoughts have power in our lives. So
Absolutely.
if you put that in your mind that I am, you should, if there's something that you want to do, say you want to be an author, you should already have things saying the author, Marlene. You know what I'm saying? You have to
Absolutely.
speak it over
You
your
putting it out
life
there.
and claim it before it arrives to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would even go as so far as the saying that with regards to the things that we started to talk about with our mental health and emotional eating. I am healed from this. I am free from this. I am liberated from this. I am stronger than this. I have overcome this. We have to speak like that. That's how to see it, we have to put it out there. I can move from this place. I can, I don't want to stay here. So I have to become the change I want to see. We complain. It's easy to complain, but what are you doing to change the situation? We have the power to change our situation right now. We don't really, it's good to talk to other people and to get it out there. But if you believed enough that you had the power to change your situation, then you have the power to change your situation.
You do. And that's why it's so important. It's one of the things that I wrote on my fridge,
Mm-hmm.
that the food does not have power over me. I have power over the food. And I think that sometimes you have to put that in your mind, because every time you go to the fridge, you have to ask yourself a question. Am I eating because I'm hungry, or am I eating to fill a void?
Yes,
Mm,
absolutely. That's good.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also one of my mantras is that I eat to live and not the other way around. I don't live to eat. That's the dysfunctional part of emotional eating, that you are living every single day to put something in your mouth. No. I eat to live. I eat to survive. I don't live to eat. So this is something I put out there daily, and it's literally coming to fruition in my life. The more that I put it out there, the more that I'm seeing a healthier, more way of approaching food in a way that, okay, I'm doing this to live, and so that means I got to put what's healthy in me to live, because everything that we eat is not, some food we eat is killing us. So I want to make sure that what I'm eating is adding to my life and not taking away from it.
Right. And that's why I always say, like at first, for all those who don't know, I'm vegetarian. So in my struggle and everything with vegetarianism, I had to learn that, even in your food choices, I had to stop associating with some people,
Hmm.
because I'm like, every time if I'll say something, they'll be like, "Oh, girl, you want this meat," and they're trying to give me their meat. You're trying to, and I'm like, no. I was like, you, in everything in your life, you have to allow people to respect you, and if you can't
Absolutely.
respect my choices, then I cannot be around you.
Absolutely.
And I think sometimes people mean well, but sometimes you can be harming people and you don't even know it.
That's the truth. And
Respect each other, respect each other's wishes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, and that's terrible, because if I see that this is something that an area that this is a choice that you made, why would I? It's almost like mocking. It's almost like making fun of. It's almost like this is something she's doing, but watch, I can make her eat the piece of chicken. Watch, that's
Hmm.
terrible. And again,
It's
the
happened.
season is over for those type of people, because you want people that's going to add to your life, add
Yeah.
to your journey,
One of
add
one
to
of
your
my
choice.
best friends, and she is the biggest carnivore that I know.
Okay.
When she found that I was gonna be vegetarian, she went out, she bought me two vegetarian books and a whole bag
Wow.
of produce.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I said, now that's my girl.
She's
That's
adding
my girl.
to the decisions that you make,
That's my girl.
and
She said,
adding
I don't
to
believe in
life.
it, but I'm going to support you.
And that's your lifetimers. So you'll be able to differentiate them. You will. This is how you're able to tell. Because if she stay around, she gonna try to tempt me and mock me. It's almost like making fun of a choice, a healthy lifestyle choice that I made for myself. And it is a level of respect that you have. If you can't honor this, then what else? Other choices and dreams and visions that I'm walking out in that you're going to mock and make fun of. So the season for you is over. I'm going to move on. And that's how you decide when it's time for to close that chapter in your life.
Right, exactly. And you have to learn that it's in all aspects of your life. We as women, even as men, we have to realize that food follows everything from,
Mm-hmm.
from your emotional, from your grieving, from pain. Everything is following food. So that's why it's so important for you
Mm-hmm.
to I think I found this on Google. Google says that it's so important for you to have a food diary.
Mm-hmm.
Write down what you eat, how much you eat, when you
Absolutely.
eat, and how you're feeling when you eat, because that's another thing that I had to deal with when it came to food. It's just like the meat. I liked it and I enjoyed it when I ate it. But then afterwards, the feeling, I did not feel good.
Yes.
And I had to start saying, why am I doing this to hurt myself just to please other people? It's like, Marlene, come on. Come
Yeah.
on. Yeah, you deserve better than that. So I had to learn to accept what was for me, not was what for somebody else.
Right, right. And that's powerful, Marlene. It really is. Like we started off talking about, a lot of people have a lot of different reasons for emotionally eating. Some people, a big reason too. I have a couple of single friends, turned 50. And so, they just feel like, well, I'm never going to be married, different things like that. And so loneliness, I've learned also will cause people to get into an emotional eating cycle. I mean, just things that will you need that you want that void filled where you have that emptiness and there and everything. And so yeah, you gotta when you recognize what your triggers are, and what's causing you to resort to food or not eat at all, because again, you're right, it can go either way. Once you establish what's causing me to do this, then that's the area that you want to start to work
Right.
on.
And I had to learn also, Tracy Lee, that part of my progress, even with food, with everything in my life, I had to learn to stop holding back from what was for me, because I was always waiting and wait. I always wanted to go on a cruise, but I wanted to go on a
Hmm.
cruise with my friends. I wanted to travel, but I wanted to travel with my friends. And I
Hmm.
started saying, girl, you've been asking them for years to do it. So I just went to Paris. I went to London. I went on a
That's
cruise
awesome.
by myself
That's awesome.
because I said, I'm not going to stop holding back because of other people. You know what I mean?
What
So
is that?
stop
Push
holding
and
back
pause, right?
from doing things for other people,
Yep.
because you're going to be waiting for years and your goals will not be accomplished if you're sitting there waiting. You know,
Hmm.
like me
Absolutely.
right now, I have a goal to get to Tahiti, and I
Hmm.
wanted it to be a certain way. And I've been waiting to go to Tahiti for 20 years.
Wow.
20 years. I've wanted to go to Tahiti.
Oh
And I
wow.
just said, I made a plan. I called a travel agent, and y'all going to see me in Tahiti in
Come on now. I can't wait
2022.
to see the pictures. I can't
Y'all
wait to
going to
see
see
it.
me in Tahiti in 2022. I'm putting it
Yes,
in the atmosphere already.
absolutely. And that's what you do. Again, that goes back to what we were talking about, where for people, what do? We take our purpose, our plans, and we push the pause button. And
Mhm.
so now everything's paused until everybody else makes a decision when they want to help me live out my dreams. No, we've taken it off pause and we going if we got to go solo. So I love that. I absolutely love it. And I can't wait to see the pictures. I can't wait to
Oh,
see the
y'all gonna
blog.
see the Tahiti vlog? And I always said, I said, I wanted it to be for a certain way, I wanted to be coupled up, and
Yes,
have all these couple pictures. I was like, but if you're always waiting for the couple, I said, but what if that's not what God has for you right now? What if that's
right.
in 7 years? Why am I waiting 7 years to have a goal actualized when I can make it happen right now?
Absolutely. So we taking the pause button off, baby. We putting this
Yeah,
back
I'm
in
taking the
pause.
pause button off. I said it's time to go.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's for everybody. It's for what anybody wants to do. My thing
Hmm.
is travel. It may be for somebody you want to lose weight, you want to get healthier, you want healthier relationships, you want better
Hmm.
friends. You have to go out there and seek it and not just waiting for it to happen. Go out there and
Make
get
it
it and
happen.
receive it.
Yeah, make it happen. Make it happen. And that's powerful. And that's what we need to know, that we are powerful. And if you don't like the way things are, you have the power to change it now. Not
Right now.
tomorrow, not next week. You have the power within you to change it now. You ain't got to complain about what's going on. You don't like what's going on. Become the change that you want to see. You teach people how to treat you. So that will be a ripple effect in you getting to see the change that you desire. And so, yeah, we want to move from just being able to do what we're so comfortably doing, which is complain, to becoming a change. I want to be the change I want to see. So that's why I'm working on me. And then anything that's in my sphere of influence is going to see that change. And I'm saying in the atmosphere that it's going to be infectious. And so they're going to change, and so on and so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm. I feel so uplifted right
Me
now.
too.
Oh my God, I feel so uplifted and encouraged. Like I'm ready to go and book a ticket.
Yes.
I'm like, she already told me how much Maya deposited, and I was like, ooh, child, that's a lot of money.
All right, but you've already put it in the atmosphere, so the money's going to come.
Yeah, I already said. I said, but the issue that I always had is I never researched how much does it cost. So I'm already to my next level. So I know what I need to do to make it happen now.
Yes. Yes, silly mama for life. Absolutely. Queen, make it happen. You got the power to make it happen
Yep.
right now.
And Boss Life Online says, let's do this, y'all. Whatever your dreams are.
Yes, yes. We can live out loud. I'm dreaming out loud right now. I'm dreaming out loud.
Dream out loud.
I did not. People were all complaining about the pandemic and this being closed down and all of these things. And I have literally been thriving because of what I've been decreeing out of my mouth. I have seen no lack, and I have been thriving during this time. It's been the best time of my life ever, because I'm learning my power, my girl power,
Girl,
and I'm
Tracy
working
Lee,
it.
I'll tell you something. Since this pandemic, so much people have said, they're having so much difficult. I have been thriving in this
Yes,
pandemic. So I feel like, yes, maybe, jobs and other things are scarce, but I learned to create my own
yes,
circumstance. Instead of looking for your position, create what you want.
that's it.
So
That's
I
it.
went and created my thing.
Yes, absolutely. When people say, "Oh, you want to be in these rooms?" No, I'm creating the room for people to be in. You want to sit at this table? No, I'm creating a table for people to sit at. And so this is how powerful we are. And especially when we start to bring these little pieces and things together, it just makes us even more powerful. Again, I like your analysis where you said, if your light is shining and it doesn't dim my light. No, when we
No,
bring our lights together, it just illuminates it into a much more brighter
brighter
light. When we
space.
start to look at things in this light, then realize how powerful we are together, that we are better together, and we can do so much more together than apart. Then we'll, abandon the low vibrational things of being envious and jealous and competing and comparing and all these other things, and begin to connect and come together and, push one another to literally actualize our dreams. What I learned is all the things that was on the inside of me that would allow me to make money in the earth. That's what I learned. I didn't sit and wait for a job to close its doors on me, because there's things in each and every one of us that we can do that's going to put food on the table. That's going to, allow us to pay our bills. That's going to allow us to be a blessing to other people's lives. There's something in you. I think that this whole year was designed, while it was terrible and people lost their lives, the blessing in it was that we got to discover what we're made out of and what we're able to do and what we have to contribute to the world. And so I'm grateful. There was no lack. I've been able to bless people and be an answer to people's prayers. And that's been a blessing to my life. And so I'm so grateful. I'm grateful that for the doors that have been closed. I'm grateful for the people that turned their backs and walked away. I'm grateful. I'm give thanks for all of that because it was necessary for me to see what I'm made out of.
Right. And I feel like you find out the fruits. You find out who you are
Yes.
deep inside. They always say either you can shine or you can dim.
Yep.
So when your back is against the wall, you choose how you're going to radiate. Are you going to turn down your light or are you going to turn it up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's up to
Absolutely.
us. And stop looking to other people to qualify you,
Oh
quantify you.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh
don't look
yes.
to anybody for who you are inside because when you show up to the table, you are somebody worthy. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just reaching back out to my sister. She kept calling, calling, calling.
Yeah, it's okay. I just want to speak that into the atmosphere and let everybody know who has been here, those who have watched on the replay. Know your worth and your value. You are worth more than the food. Make healthy
Yes.
choices for you, not just in the food, in your lifestyle, in the relationships. It all goes together. Be healthy in all aspects of your life.
Yes. That's awesome. That is
Yeah,
absolutely awesome. Yes.
yes.
I totally
So,
agree.
yeah. So I want to thank you for being here for the Sunday Talk Show. I really appreciated it, Tracy Lee.
It's
Thank
always a
you so
great
much.
conversation, Marlene, when we come. It's always a great conversation.
Always.
And I
Yes.
love these types of conversations. Always leave feeling so much better. And just to know that I'm not alone on this journey. It's nothing wrong with me. I am saying that I am in the process of being whole from being an emotional eater. And I'm giving voice to things that people have not given voice to it so that you too can say, hi, that's me too. Let's get through this together. Because that's what it's about. I'm about, girl, hold my hand. Let's walk through this together. Um, and adding to your life and not taking away from it. So I'm grateful for the platform and for the opportunity to just be able to share and hope that it would encourage and empower and bless somebody else's life because this is why we share our stories so that we can make other people better. That's my heart's desire. It blesses me. It causes me to sleep with a smile on my face to know that I've added to somebody's life every single
Yes.
day. That's my desire, and that's what I want to do. And I'm so glad that I'm able to do that. Come and connect and do that with you, Marlene. Every single time we come together, we're leaving deposits of awesomeness and
Yes.
wonderfulness for people to pick
Yes.
up
And
and do
light and faith
absolutely
and
better.
loyalty and
Yes,
commitment.
I
Yes.
love it. I love it. So I hope,
Yeah. I love
hopefully,
it too.
somebody's life will be better because of this.
Yeah. Yes. And I thank
Yes,
you so much for being here. It has been a blessing.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes. So thank you. And I'll see you on the next one,
Yes,
Tracy.
honey.
Thank
Yes,
you.
you will.
Yes, guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate everybody who is here. Yes, the featured channel member show is going to be starting in about 10 minutes. So the link has been dropped. I thank everybody who was here and I appreciate it. It's been a wonderful discussion about emotional eating. I want to encourage everybody who is here, whatever you have been through, whatever you're going through, whatever is for you in the future, you can overcome. You can heal from it. You can be stronger today than you were yesterday, but you have to believe in your own power. You have to believe in your light. You are deserving and worthy. You are able. You can conquer anything that you want, but you have to make the choice. You have to make a choice to be positive. You have to make a choice to be strong. You have to make a choice to not be negative. So make that choice each and every day. I am Marlene. I am the content creator for Living Your Best Life. And on this channel, I do positive re-encouragement, reinforcements, story times, travel vlogs, and motivations. and the Doses of Positivity, which are every Monday, and the Sunday Talk Show, which is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single Sunday. And we also have the featured channel member show that is Sundays at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. I thank you to everybody who is here. Keep being a blessing. Claim your own blessings. Remember, your light is for you. Nobody can take away your light unless you choose to dim it. So I will see you guys on the next one. Have a great day, guys. Walking your blessings.